Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of Messi Co. I'm Ashley, here as always with my incredible co-host Gian, and man, so much to talk about, and not unfortunately, I'd say as positive as we normally find things to talk about this Inter Miami team and Messi and all that good stuff. It's been a difficult couple of weeks. Want to apologize. We were supposed to have a live episode last week. Unfortunately, had a little bit of a medical emergency, had to move it to this week, but we're good. We're back, and we have even more to talk about because now we're up to what I think 6 winless matches for Inter Miami. The latest being a home defeat to Toronto, 2-1. Lots to talk about. A lot of blame to put, I think, across the board. But before we get into that, Gian, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing much better than Inter Miami is, that's for sure. So
Same, and I am the one who had a medical emergency.
Yeah, no, it was surprising. Exactly, the one that had the medical emergency is closer to life than Inter Miami is at this point. It's. I'm doing good. Correction, Inter Miami is currently 5 games winless, which is quite a long streak after what we were initially, I think, used to at the beginning of the season under Hoyos after Macherano. But look, the world continues to turn. We still have jobs. We still got things to do while Inter Miami figures this out. But no, I'm happy. I've been watching the games, obviously, still catching them, even though it's been tough at times. I'm not gonna lie. It's like you sometimes see certain like bright spots, right? And you're like, okay, like, Dane St. Clair playing good, and even though he's got a few hiccups here and there, but at least he's playing good. And then the Paul will have a good game, or Messi scores, and it's just unfortunately that those things are overshadowed by some really poor results, man. Like it's crazy, but we're still fans and we're still here, and I'm just excited to be here with you, Ash, and to talk about it. There's so much to talk about. Like there's so many different angles to what's going on with Inter Miami.
I totally agree, and I think I have a lot of different talking points for us to go over. Ash, first one in the chat, as always. What a great supporter of the show, and I think it's a really great place for us to start, which is basically this: the main problem is the players are playing a style of football that puts them in a position to fail rather than succeed. And I think that's a good jumping off point, because there's a lot of, like we said, a lot of blame to go around, and a lot of, there's a lot of things we can point to and say, this is the reason why, this is the problem. There are a couple good spots. And I'm sorry, there's still not no one I would choose over Messi. Like, he's still, obviously dealing with the passing of his father, losing in the World Cup final. It hasn't been an easy time period for him, but he still shows up, and he still, I think, makes magic in every moment. But the overall team and the structure, I think, is a really good thing to talk about. And with that, it seems that when the team is put out there, and the style of play that Hoyos is putting out there, it just feels like a lot of, in my opinion, like a lot of broken pieces, right? Like it feels like you have three phases of the game, and three phases of the attack that we're or of the team that we're seeing. We have attacking, we have Berterame, who came back, and that's obviously great to see. But you're seeing 3 separate units instead of playing together collectively, and it's causing problems from minute 1 to minute 90.
Yeah, look, I think that we've got to pick what we want to touch on during this episode, because if not, we'll be here for 3-4 hours.
Forever. Like our World Cup episode.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff going wrong with this team, right? It's not just one thing. And I think a couple of things that stand out to me are, and so, somebody said it here, I think it was Francisco, right? Miami brings players to sell kits instead of bringing players that serve its style of play.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give you a date, right? The date is July 25th. And I think July 25th, it's the day that we beat Montreal 1-0. I think that day is kind of what spurs everything that happens afterwards and why we're in this situation. July 5th, 25th happens to be the day that Berterame got injured.
Yeah.
It happens to be the day that it happens to be the day that Casemiro comes and plays his first game at Inter Miami. And why do I mention that? Number one, I think that Berterame at the beginning, a lot of us questioned that, right? We questioned it because it was, number one, we were expecting a different type of player, but also we questioned it because he didn't seem to mesh with the team at the beginning. It did take him a lot of time to get into rhythm, but after he did,
you're talking about
Berterame, but after he did, he became an integral part of this team, because not only was he scoring goals, which is what he was brought in to do, but he was also really good at assisting. He was really good at running back and helping on defense. He was really good at hustling. He had his legs under him. He was dependable. So when Berterame goes down,
and him and Suarez were playing well together. Yeah.
And then Suarez has to come in and basically take that Berterame role. He can't do it as well as Berterame can. He doesn't have the energy, the legs underneath him, the physicality that Berterame does. And we can see that huge hole in Miami's offense without Berterame. So that's number one. Number two, going back to what Francisco said, we didn't need Casemiro. We didn't. We really did not need him. We had De Paul, who's playing alongside Yannick Bright as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
And then in the attack, you had Berterame, Messi, Suarez. Before he got injured, Tadeo Allende. You have, but more than anything, Silvetti, Segovia at times. That's the team was playing and was doing well. But then Casemiro comes in, and I think that what Hoyos did and this Inter Miami team did is, instead of filling a need, they brought in a name, and then they tried to make the team work with Casemiro in it, as opposed to finding a need for the team and then injecting a player. Is the reverse. They said, how the hell are we going to fit Casemiro, De Paul, and Yannick Bright all at the same time? I don't think they should be playing at the same time. They don't. They're redundant. There's redundancy in there. But how are they going to sit Casemiro? They're not. How are they going to sit De Paul? Impossible. How are they going to sit Yannick Bright? He's an all-star and he's playing amazing. So they've molded this team to play not a style that suits them, but rather to make sure that all of their best players are playing together, and it just doesn't work out. And since July 25th, this team has won one out of their last 7 games. Before that, they were like on a 6+ run. So I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, and we can continue. But there's more I want to say about that, but I don't want to continue to ramble on. But I think that's a big deal, and why Inter Miami is suffering.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, it's difficult because there's a lot of things that have happened simultaneously that are not individuals' fault. Like, for example, in the first few matches, I thought Casemiro was incredible. Like, especially in the first game he played in Montreal, I thought he was amazing. And I was like, wow, that's awesome that he's playing so well. I think at the same time, Berterame gets hurt. Silvetti is out, and now your attack is becoming incredibly thin, and you're trying to play players out of position. At the same time, Messi's father dies. Argentina loses the World Cup, and it takes a little while for De Paul and Messi to come back. All of these things happening at the same time, right? So it was always going to be, I think, difficult to try and figure out how to get your midfield and everything rolling with. I mean, Casemiro and De Paul 100% are going to start every single game. We love Yannick Bright. He should play every single game. What that's going to look like, I think time will tell. But
they could rotate, though. That's the thing. And
right.
And I think somebody says it here in the comments. Like, that's the thing. We talked about, I think, earlier on in the season, how they were going to have to build a really deep team this season because of the amount of tournaments that they were going to play, right? From Conca Champions Cup to Leagues Cup to the league, and whatever else happens. And they have 3 starting midfielders.
Right.
They can rotate them. They don't have to. They don't have to jam pack that midfield with 3 redundant roles, and or in this case, like have Casemiro play with Yannick Bright and then push the ball forward, like if he's an attacker. It just doesn't work out, and they're forcing it. That's what it is. They're forcing it, and it clearly isn't. It's not working, and that's on Hoyos as well. Hoyos.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I think he needs to go. It's a strong opinion, and it's only been 6. He started off really strong, etc. I just think that he's being out tacticked every match. And again, a lot of things, the injuries and the issues with the attacking has not been his fault. Messi's father dying is not his fault. There's things that are not his fault, but there's too many good players that are available to, I think, be what's happening right now, which is really like a tactical mismatch, and not a lot of flexibility, and either trying to be too offensive, too attack minded, or too defensive. Like, we are talking about the midfield, of course, but there's like Noah Allen who's not playing versus a Sergio Reguilon, and I mean, Ian Frey, I think, is the right decision. You're seeing just some, I don't know, like, it just feels very uneasy. I'll be bringing in my other club, Tottenham, this past weekend. From minute one, it was the wrong choice. It was the wrong team. It was the wrong tactics. It was the wrong setup. It was wrong. And De Zerbi tried to adapt in the middle, in the halftime, but it didn't work out. But it was clearly wrong. And I feel like with Hoyos, with each match, even though he's making changes, it's again turning into the wrong change. And because of that, to me, with how delicate of a time and a situation we're in, like, this is with this kind of comment saying Beckham cannot create a great team around Messi, they should let him go and apologize. Messi isn't going anywhere as far as I can tell, and what we know and have seen. He's not going anywhere, and there are enough good players around him, and there is enough to create and to do a hell of a lot better than what we're seeing right now. And because of that, you have to make, I think, immediate changes. And so for me, it feels like it's too much for Hoyos.
I want to be careful about just booting coaches.
I get it.
Quickly. I mean,
it's harsh for sure.
I mean, look, it's not a good look, and it's not good for morale to boot 2 coaches in a matter of months. Like, we have to remember that Mascherano was just booted in April, right? So talking about May, June, July, August. He was booted. Let's not pretend. He was booted out in April after the Champions Cup fiasco. And then that's April. Then May, June, July, August. 4 months later, you're gonna boot your other coach, and you're gonna have 3 coaches in one season. I don't think that helps at all in anything. A coach isn't gonna come in here and fix things from one day to the other. It's something that takes time. And you're talking about you're in the second half of the season. You've already missed out on Leagues Cup. You've already missed out on Champions Cup. You need to make Champions Cup next season. So you need to, place top 3 in Supporters Shield standings, or you need to win MLS Cup. Like, there's not the margin of error of picking not only them playing, but picking a coach if they were going to boot Hoyos, and picking a coach that's going to be able to make this team better. Even that's a bet. You don't know that's going to happen. You already know what you have in Hoyos, and you know what he can do with this team. They've got to give him a chance to get out of this rut. Now, if you talk about another month like this, or another month and a half, or they go 5-0, I mean, they go the next 5 games without winning, then we'll talk about it. But you're talking about a series of games where he loses his starting forward, aside from Messi, his best forward,
to a scary injury,
to a bad injury. He loses his best winger, Silvetti. He loses his best defender, Mikael. Like, this isn't just him not coaching well. Like, now, is he having issues adapting to the injuries that he's had? Yeah, I can 100% agree. But I'm always against booting a coach just because when you don't have a sure answer coming in. Now, if you told me you were going to get Xavi, but Xavi obviously went to Netherlands, he was, there was talk about, okay, if you tell me you're going to get Pep Guardiola, who doesn't have a job right now, of course, boo Hoyos yesterday. Like, yes, you bring me in Pep. If you talk about bringing in a guy like Wilfred Nancy, who doesn't have a job right now, who won the 2023 MLS Cup, who won the 2024 Leagues Cup, like a proven coach like that, well, he should be an actual option. Like doesn't have a job right now. He was with
he didn't do well at Celtic. Yeah,
at Celtic. Yeah, he didn't do well there, but I think that he can have a shot here. Then okay, then you boot Hoyos, but to bring to get him out and then bring some random coach from Argentina or some random coach from a B team in
he was the random coach from Argentina.
Yeah, he was. Or to bring in a guy that's in the British championship league, whatever, the second tier league. Like, no, like, don't do that. This is a guy that already knows the team. People trust him. I haven't heard anything that he's lost the locker room or anything like that. That's different. So I don't think that's the answer, Ash. Like right now, like that's not. We can talk 4 or 5 games from now. If things haven't changed, then a serious conversation needs to be had, because you do need to salvage what's left of the season. Because if we don't make Champions Cup, like that's really bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess, and I'm usually not really like a coach killer. That's not really my thing. I guess it just
I ain't
feels
a coach
to me,
killer, but don't push me.
It just feels to me that it feels like there's a really big gap tactically. But with Berterame back now, like, is he gonna, I think we're gonna have to see, is he gonna adapt to the 4-4-2? Are we gonna see, is he gonna, if you have consistency of Noah Allen and Ian Frey, like, I think that makes a positive difference. If you have consistency, like now you're gonna have basically probably a midfield of Bright, DePaul, Casemiro, and Messi. I mean, if you're doing like a 4-4-2, I have to admit, I imagine that's what he's going to be doing in order to be able to.
Well, Messi will never be in the midfield.
No, but you know what I mean.
Messi will drop back to help, but it'll be Suarez and Messi up top, and then Berterame will probably be a little bit beneath them, and he'll be the one expected to help out in the midfield more than anything. He's the one with the legs. I mean, Suarez is not. Nobody's expecting Suarez to be helping in the midfield. Like, he needs to stay.
I'm still, again, I've said this for a long time. I don't love how Segovia plays. I don't love. I don't think he takes enough of what's needed from him, to me. And when you don't, like, when your offense isn't firing, I think it just becomes really obvious that it doesn't work. Again, it could just be a personal preference, but I will say a positive. Let's talk about a few positives that we've seen. One positive is to your point. I think that Dane Sinclair, after a torrid start and a lot of back and forth, I think has been way better, like, and confident and made good saves. And with an 11 that does keep seeming to change, and whether it's injury, suspension, etc., things that, again, Hoyos can't necessarily control. He can control right now the starting goalkeeper, and I think it will stay Sinclair. Unfortunately, Rocco had his moment, and he just made too many mistakes. We'll see how that changes, but he, I think, has been a positive. And then the other positive is Pinter. Pinter is what a kid, what energy, what tenacity, skill, all of those things. Again, being put in difficult situations right now. But I really like him. I really like watching him play. I think his future is very, very bright.
Yeah, I mean, DSC has come back, and I think he's played. I mean, he's 2 games back, if I'm not mistaken, after Nashville scored 4 on us with Novo in the goal, and he came back. He had a good game against Philadelphia.
Made important saves,
And then he came back against Toronto. He didn't have such a good game against Toronto. I think some of those goals were.
But he still made saves that he hadn't been making in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he made saves, but I mean, I think if I remember correctly, one of the goals was one, I think he had a deflection that he deflected to the middle, maybe was it? I can't remember. And then the other goal was on his post. He didn't play good against Toronto, in my opinion. He had some good saves, yeah, but the goals that we got scored on, I think he should have done better. But nonetheless, 1 out of 2 games he played well. He did look okay against Toronto. He's certainly better than Rios No at this point, which is crazy because Rios No to me was playing very well last season, and then he lost his job to DSC, and I think that takes a hit on your morale, and you know, he comes back, he doesn't know if he's going to have that, if that position is really his or if it's temporary. I definitely think that had something to do with it, because some of the blunders that he had, man, it's like
it's crazy.
You know, I don't remember Inter Miami being on ESPN's not top 10 so many times in the span of a couple of weeks. And a lot of times it was Rios Novo, you know, with missing the ball or kicking it or running out and jumping and the ball going over his head. It's like, those things are mental. I mean, he's a professional football player. He's never done that before. It's 100% mental. But whatever, the point is that DSC is there. Pinter, look, I love that Inter Miami is able to rely on these young guys and be able to bring them in and not just guys that are going to fill up space and hopefully not screw it up. No, they're guys that are actually impactful in the game, and Pinter, you know, being able to score, and he does good. I still think he's got a lot of growing to do. Obviously, he's young, and he'll that'll take time. But he's a young kid that isn't a starter right now, but he's a guy that can fill in. And if he continues down this path, you know, he may be able to start at some point. But he serves,
and he's not afraid to play with Messi and DePaul. Like, he's not afraid to play with them, which is good.
No, he's not. So I really like what I've seen out of the young kid. And look, Inter Miami gets a lot of slack for bringing in older guys, but they're, I think, one of the teams that has relied the most on
the academy.
On the academy. So when you see these plastic not bought or bought not plastic or whatever the hell banners that these other teams are putting and Barbie this or Barbie that, like, it's just hate that's unwarranted, honestly. Like, Inter Miami does lean in on their young guys. Like, look at their, when you talk about Ian Frey, Yannick Bright, Pinter, Noah Allen, like, the list goes on and on, right? So
100%. And I mean, now with you know, with Reguilon again picking up another leg injury, I think Noah Allen will kind of regain that spot. And having him and Ian Frey, I think, is a big positive. Ian Frey has been able to get the consistency in those minutes. I almost wonder, I mean, I think just the way Ian Frey plays on the right is just so good. I personally, like, Mura has looked a little bit better and back. I don't know, do we want to maybe see Ian Frey as a right center back? Because again, I'm Falcon and Lujan together, it's just not strong enough. I'd even say Caicedo, who is a young kid, I'd rather almost see him. I just think that just Falcon is just so a pace behind, and Lujan has his moments, but I don't know. And again, to your point, it's not Hoyos' fault, but it's just you can't right now. Like, it's hard to pick your back four. It just is. Like, there is so many ups and downs, and what I may want versus what you may want versus what he may want versus what what works is there's a lot of variables, right, at play, and so that's going to be hard.
These players aren't consistent. I think that's the difficult thing. The players aren't consistent, especially in the back line. I think Ian Frey and Noah Allen have been the two most consistent defenders
100%.
outside of Mikael, obviously. Right? Unfortunately, Mikael, you don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah.
But Ian Frey and Noah Allen, and the good thing about those two are they're two guys that are very versatile. Ian Frey, right back, right center back. Noah Allen, left back, left center back. Those are two guys that you put them wherever you want, and you can rely on them. The issue is you have Reguilon on that left side. You never know when he's going to play. When he does play, you don't know how long he's going to play. When he's injured, you don't know how long he's going to be injured. On the right side, Mura, he may have a good game here, and then he doesn't play well for another 3-4 games. He's a guy that's always on the bench. I mean, I think it's tough as a coach to be able to maneuver your defense and know who's going to play on a given day when your guys are so inconsistent. Same thing with Lujan. I don't know if it was earlier this season. I feel like it was, where Lujan was like, he started playing as starting, and we were like, damn, Lujan is good. Lujan is playing well. I don't know if that was a span of 3 or 4 games, but he was playing good. And now he's not playing good. Maxi Falcon was your best defender at one point, and now he's not playing good. So I mean, you're not talking about guys that were never good. There are guys that have been good, and all of a sudden they're not good anymore. What is the explanation? I don't know. And as a coach, what the hell do you do? That's what he gets paid the big bucks for. That's what he knows more than us. But it's something that he hasn't been able to figure out, and you need your coach to do that. What does that mean? Maybe it's Noah Allen in the middle and Ian Frey, but then what the hell do you do on the left since you don't have Reguilon? I don't know.
No, Allen's gonna have to stay left, but yeah,
I think Muda can't play anymore. Is what I think. In the middle, you got to play Lujan or Falcon at this point. But Muda on the right just isn't. He doesn't provide much. He's a liability, unfortunately, and he's a guy that came with a lot of promise from Racing. Like he wasn't a cheap addition either. So it's a bit disappointing, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's true. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, and you know, in terms of the overall play, the biggest issue right now is, I agree, is that we're doing a lot of short passing, and it's just not. It doesn't feel like the team knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing, know what where everyone's supposed to be, and just the overall execution has been flawed.
Well, the short passes are not something new.
No,
like,
that's Messi.
We weren't complaining about that 2-3 months ago. We were actually in love with how they were playing, because they're a team that likes to build out of the back. They're not a team that's going to counterattack. They can literally have a 2 or 3 on 1, and they'll stop the ball and wait for everybody to go out and just start touching around. That's how they play. That's how Barcelona played too, until a little bit, especially in the tiki-taka days. Not to say that we're playing tiki-taka, but they're more of a positional, wear the team out, and then somebody makes a run, you know, or Messi does a 1-2 with either De Paul, or a 1-2 with Noah Allen, and that's how this team plays. And up to 2 months ago, or even early, or even maybe 6 weeks ago, we weren't complaining about this. So that's not the issue in my eyes. The issue is you can't do that if you don't have Berterame and Silvetti making those runs and associating and running into space, because when you're just making those passes, there's nobody else to touch with. Like there's nobody making runs into space. So it just becomes boring. It becomes dull. It's just side to side, left to right, left to right. There's no verticality. And I think that's probably what Ash is seeing, right? When I don't know if it's Ash. I don't want to say he or she. I don't know what the name is, but you know, I think that's what Ash is looking at, is seeing that it's boring. It's nothing's happening, but it's because you're missing Berterame and you're missing Silvetti. Like those are guys that make that style. You be able to score with that style.
Yeah, and then Mike's saying, you know, it's an issue with ownership. Deep pockets mean nothing if you don't build a proper team. I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit harsh, because especially when you're looking at last season winning the you know, MLS championship. I think this season a few players have not lived up to what they were expected to. I think Dane St. Clair early in the season, Mura, you know, and right now with Casemiro, whether you say it's his fault or not, there's obviously gaps there. And so it's tough. There's so much circumstance right now there is, and it's not making excuses. It's just but circumstances are over. Like you have to make changes, and that is, you know, that is the job of the managers, to get this, you know, get out of this bad place, and be the one that leads the team and leads the, you know, putting people in the right positions, making the right decisions, the right, you know, making the right calls, and then having the team do the rest, and be able to match the challenge that they are. And right now it just looks like you're seeing and uninspired. Like the first half against Toronto, looks like two teams who did not want to be playing at all. And it was uninspiring and tough. And so, you got to have you have to be able to get out of that. And I mean, luckily you have the greatest player of all time to do it, which helps. It's just going to be about if all of the pieces can come together, if everyone can do. And same with Berterame, we paid 15 million for him. Obviously that it hasn't been what it was expected, and so maybe it's that they're spending the money on the wrong people. But I think this season, I can name 3 or 4 stars that were brought into this Inter Miami team to try and keep that level, who haven't matched the intensity, who haven't matched the call.
Yeah, I do think the money has been placed in the wrong spots. Definitely, I think that before Casemiro came, what did you need more than anything? I think you needed a defender and you needed a winger, and more than anything. I mean, you already had your midfield set, right? You had Bright, you had De Paul, you had Velasco. Those are your starters in the midfield. You had Silvetti as basically your lone winger, especially with or your wide player. Like Allende and Silvetti were the guys who on this team who most played out wide, and you were missing one. You definitely needed another one. You had on that right side, you had Ian Frey. On the left side, you had Noah Allen. Those weren't priorities, but probably the center back position was the main priority, especially with Lujan not playing well, with Maxi Falcón not playing well. I mean, you brought in Mikael, but there was no need for a Casemiro. And I think still, I still think Casemiro is a good player. If you watched him play in Man U, I think he was still playing good.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately taken him longer to adapt so far.
Yeah.
And he just started.
He started really strong too, in my opinion. Like the first 2 matches, I thought he was like, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I probably am not as high on him as you were the couple of matches. I don't think he played bad, but I do think it's taken him time to get fully into this team. But I also think and part of it is coaching, right? They're trying to fit in a player that doesn't need to play with the some of the players around him. Like for me, I think this team would have looked better if it was just De Paul and Casemiro, right? Or Casemiro and Bright. Obviously, it would probably be De Paul because De Paul is never going to not start. So a Casemiro, De Paul midfield with maybe Yannick Bright coming in the second half, I think that's a much better strategy than forcing those 3 to be on the pitch at the same time. That just doesn't work. And then another thing, we were talking about Suarez playing amazing. And what happens now? He's another Suarez. Like, how do you explain these things? He's not playing as good as he was. He was part of this run where he was scoring and he was assisting. I remember checking after every game, looking at his MLS game log.
He was playing excellent. I mean, amazing. Yeah.
How good he's playing. And it's like, look, I'll bring it up right now. His game log, and we'll see what he was doing before and after. Like, hold on. MLS game log Suarez. Let's take a look and see. Here we go. So his match log is, I hate these things where they ask you for the cookies. Okay. So up until August 1st, let's do this. August 1st, 1 goal, 1 assist. I'm going backwards in time. August 1st, 1 goal, 1 assist. July 25th, 1 goal, 1 assist. July 22nd, 2 goals, no assists. 5/24 before the break, 3 goals. So you're talking about in a span of 4 games, he had 7 goals. 7 goals and an assist. What happens after his game against the Columbus Crew? The last 3 games, he has 0 goals and just 2 assists. He's not scoring anymore. I mean, you're talking about guys taking a step back out of nowhere, guys that you were depending on. I think it's coaching and I think it's players. I don't think you can put the blame on just one. I think
it's multiple things.
It's down the line. These guys are not playing like they were. And I think that he is not doing a good job of coaching through the adversity that he has, that he is currently going through. He hasn't done a good job of coaching it.
It's a good. I mean, I think that's exactly right. I think it's all these things. Like we said, it's like when it's good and it's great. But then when it's wrong, everything stacked up on each other. And like I said, there's plenty of blame to go around to plenty of different spots. And so now it's going to be a matter of just can they work their way out of it, starting with the match at Saturday against Montreal. Can they start righting the ship? And obviously a big part of that is Lionel Messi. Couple things about Messi. First of all, there was 2 big reports today. The first one was this morning that talks for Lionel Messi going to Liverpool. I'll say right now, no, he's not. Especially after the semifinal, Lionel Messi has made it really clear that he doesn't really like or want to play in England. I would be shocked if he decides to move his family and do everything and go to Liverpool, England. I just don't see that happening. I really, really don't. So he's going to be finishing his career with Inter Miami. I think he still has got a ways to go because he's still the freaking best. But I think he's not going anywhere. A thing that did come out in the last few hours, though, is his playing with the Argentina team. Rumors that it may be coming to an end. That I do believe. I think at this point he may, after that World Cup, he may be sort of starting to step away from that. And with his father dying, I think it also takes away a little bit of that, whatever it was that brings him there. And the and what he's done for Argentina, it's amazing. There's rumors about everything, but I think Messi's still Messi. And if you even saw in the Philadelphia game, he's still playing with so much of that spirit and that passion and being the best. And so I think he's just, of the list of things I'm worried about and the things that I've seen from Inter Miami, the problems, etc. He's just like not even in the top 20. You know what I mean? Like he's still Messi, he's still going, he still does amazing things, he still scores, he still creates, he still brings everything to life. He just has to keep doing what he's doing, and it's about, I think, everything else around him, meeting the level.
I mean, you talk about Argentina. Let's just go a step further and talk about Inter Miami. I don't know if he'll be here next season, honestly. Like, you talk about Argentina. I'm just talking about football in general. You have to remember, after his father passed away, he put out an open letter that specifically said that he doesn't know how to go on, that he doesn't know how much longer he'll keep playing for, that he had his father at his side from the beginning. Yeah. And now without him there, he basically doesn't know how much more he's going to play. So I don't think it's out of the question that he just retires completely, not just from Argentina.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Look, if you talk about Busquets saying that he was, unsure and he felt like he was going to play and then just retiring out of nowhere, and then Jordi Alba on contract for another season, everybody expecting him to play and him all of a sudden retiring, it's not out of the question for Messi, who went through something as traumatic as losing his father, and openly saying he doesn't know how much longer he'll play or how he can continue playing without his father. It's not out of the question. Like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't play next season, especially if you think about it. If he doesn't feel like going back to Argentina, which is his love, and I think that that's one of the biggest reasons why he does play club soccer, right? Is so that he can be prepared and be in shape so that he can play for Argentina, his number one love. If he doesn't feel that he can play for Argentina without his father here, then he has no need for the club anymore. He's not doing it for money. Yeah. He's not doing it for, he's maybe doing it for the love, which he may have lost after this moment. And if Inter Miami doesn't qualify for a Champions Cup next season, and if they don't win MLS Cup this season, if those two things don't happen, he may not come back. What is he going to come back for? He just lost the World Cup. He doesn't win MLS Cup, and then there's no chance of him playing an international tournament next season. He may very well be out in 2027. And I'm not even kidding. Like, there's a real possibility he doesn't come back next season, which is why Inter Miami needs to do everything they can to win
change things
whatever's
around.
rest of the season and give him a reason to come back. Give him a reason to come back and a reason to continue something that he doesn't even know, said by himself, if he can do much longer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that everything turns around on a lot of levels. And that being one of them. I mean, I'd like to think logistically and in terms of agreements and stuff, the new stadium, the Leo Messi stand, a lot of different things I think makes it not so much of a cut and dry decision compared to the likes of like a Jordi Alba and Busquets. Time will tell. But at least in terms of what we see on the field, he's still the best. And now it's a matter of, I think, everyone else, both on and off the field, including coaching, including everyone, figuring it out. and that's what we want to see. And again, like I said, we wanted to start immediately, and that's with this Saturday game, Inter Miami versus Montreal. What are your thoughts? What do you want to see or need to see from this team in order to get back on the path of righteousness?
Well, look, last time they played against Montreal, they won, right? They won 1-0. So we definitely know that
Berterame had that,
Yeah. We know that they can beat Montreal. Berterame is back. Berterame had one game back. I think having that one under his belt is going to help him get his footing, and I expect to see a much better game from him against Montreal. I think what I'm most curious of is what that back line will be like, because I do know what the midfield is going to look like. It'll obviously be Casemiro. It'll be the Paul, and Yannick Bright is back from his red card, so that'll be the midfield. We know that. What is that defense going to look like? What is that game of musical chairs going to be? Yeah. DSC is going to be in there. I would almost bet that Ian Frey is going to be there, that Noah Allen is going to be there. But who else is going to be there? Is it going to be Maxi Falcón? Is it going to be Lujan? Is it going to be Mura? Is it going to be? Is it going to be Ian Frey as a center back? Is it going to be as a right back? It's just, I mean, imagine if they told you have $100, you can bet on that lineup and win $1 million, but you got to get it right. What the hell do you pick? Like it's basically impossible.
True, yeah.
Like it's that or you lose 1,000 if you don't get it right. I'm like, I'm not doing that, because I literally have no clue what that defense is going to look like. Literally no clue. You tell me the midfield is different. In the front, it's going to be Messi. It's going to be Berterame. Is it going to be who's that third one going to be? Is it going to be Suarez? Is it going to be Telasco Segovia? I think those are kind of the questions. The defense, and who is that third guy up front with Messi and Berterame? Yeah. But they should win, and they need to win. Like, there's no reason for this team not to win, because we've talked about so much the injuries that this team has had. But look, despite the injuries, when I look at the 11 on the pitch, a lot of times that 11 is better than whatever 11 the other team has. Like, but the problem is, it's not the people on the pitch. The problem is
everything together.
Them playing together. I think this isn't the first case in football history where you've seen that, where the players are good. But just because you have good players doesn't mean you have a good team. And that's what this Inter Miami team is suffering from. They're not a good team. They have great players, but they don't have a good team.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we're going to have a game where you have Yannick Bright back and you have Berterame, who I think is going to start. So what is that going to look like, and how are we going to see it all come together? I'm predicting we win. I'm predicting we win. We turn things around, and the heart of the team comes back. The feeling of the team comes back, and we start on our path to enlightenment, and we can put together a series of good matches and get things going, against Montreal's first, and then against Atlanta United, who we have a lot of history of up and down with, thinking about Messi's first playoffs, where you had Brad Guzman, right? Who was, playing like goalkeeper who's playing on his head basically, and was amazing. The big disappointment with that. I think that'll be an important game. And then you play against Chicago, Lewandowski, and then you play against Nashville. These are games where it's going to have a lot of emotional up and down, and this is where you need to see the team and the energy and the togetherness manifests itself. And so starting with this Saturday, we win and we keep going.
Yeah, look, if we don't win, things are going to get ugly, I think. Not only ugly for the fans and how they feel, but ugly inside the locker room. I think this is a group of guys who aren't used to losing, right?
And 3 of your next 4 at home. You need to win. You need to show
they
up.
have to win. They have to win. If not, the conversations start to get a lot more serious about Hoyos's tenure here in Miami. We're going to be facing, like you said, after Montreal, we face Atlanta United. Going to face our old friend Tata Martino, who we know and love down here. So it'll be nice to see him around. And Atlanta's been playing good. Atlanta's won 3 of their last 5 games. So we'll have to see how they fare against us when we see them. But I think the next couple of games are going to be very important for this Inter Miami team. They need to dig themselves out of this hole. The deeper they dig this hole, the worse it is for them, the worse it is for their coach, the worse it looks for on this ownership. And players are going to start getting pissed if they're not already. The last thing you want is to lose the locker room. That's when it all goes to shit. So you need this team to win ASAP. And I do think they're going to win, honestly. You know what? I'll bet $1 on them. I really will. Like, I'm
versus who? Me? I want them to win too.
I'm not afraid. I'm opening up a Hard Rock bet account and I'm putting a big old $1 on there and walk out with $1.25.
Hard Rock bet sponsor
$1.25, and then I'll buy a cheeseburger. Do they still do 99-cent cheeseburgers? Probably not. Probably gonna cost me a good $2.
I was say cheeseburger from where?
yeah, never mind. I'm still back to 10 years ago when you can get 99-cent cheeseburgers. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that this team will win. If not, I don't know. I'll paint my hair pink. I don't know.
Oh my God, you're talking so many things right now. Like you're really, and it's all on tape. So we'll see. But no, I agree. I think we got to win and we got to make a difference. I'll match your $1. Inter Miami needs to win this game.
Oh,
and when we win this game, what we'll do is you and I will go out for Argentinian food for dinner next week. Just
okay, I'm down.
I miss you, so we can hang out and get dinner. And your wife, I'd like to do that. So yeah, let's
for sure. Let's do that. I don't need any excuses to go eat some Argentinian empanadas.
Let's go, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't win or lose. I'm gonna go eat them. So
agreed. But hopefully it'll be a win. And so we're happy back. We will have another episode next week. As always, make sure you're following us at Messi Co on all socials. On X, we will be doing the updates from the game, from the personnel, from the players, from the coaching, from everything. And more than anything, we want Inter Miami to win and get back to the good things that we've had. So thank you guys as always for watching. Make sure you are following and subscribed at YouTube at 5 Reasons Football. We will be back next week, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week and is ready for Saturday's game. So yeah, have a good one. Thanks everybody.
Thank you, everybody.